Hello everyone, my name is Steven with a V and welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading some malicious compliance stories, tales where following the rules lead to some just desserts. And just let me say, if you're not already subscribed to Storytime, please consider doing so. But with that being said, let's sit back, relax, and listen to some captivating Reddit stories. No noise after 10 p.m. I work in the theater industry, the live entertainment type, and was doing a freelance gig as a carpenter building a set. As the normal budget was 50% less than it needed to be and I had to do in 2 days what should have taken a week, I get paid a day rate. So regardless of how long I am there, I get the same amount. But the rate agreed was very good, so it was worth going the extra mile and putting in the hours. So I started early, worked through breaks, and finished late. On the second day, I just had a couple of things to join together with bolts, a simple 5-minute job right at the end of the day, but it was late, around 11:30 p.m. The venue had a noise curfew at 10 p.m. which is designed for the rock concerts playing live music at loud volumes. However, the venue's manager, who had only been working there about a month, was very insistent that I was making too much noise with my tools. It was his first experience of a show being put in. The previous production was already opened when he joined.
You can't make any noise after 10 p.m. We have a noise curfew here.
The noise curfew is set at 90 decibels and there's a meter on the wall over there to monitor it. My tools aren't registering over 75 decibels. I always work late on these shows. Sometimes I'm here until 4 to 5 a.m. if I need to be to make sure everything is ready.
No, you aren't allowed to make any noise after 10 p.m. You have to stop what you're doing.
But you're making noise talking to me. I don't think you'll find it any noise. It's 90 decibels. I have this one last job to do and then I'm going home. It's going to take 15 minutes at most.
That's not possible. You have to stop now.
Are you sure about that? They really want this set finished so they can rehearse here tomorrow. If I have to come back tomorrow, then it's going to be very inconvenient for everyone and for no reason.
You can't make any noise, so it'll have to wait.
So I did as I was told, packed away my tools, and came back in the morning. The next day, the producer was more than a little annoyed, but I explained the issue with the manager. He instructed me to finish building the set, which I did in about 10 minutes. I then took great pleasure in handing the manager my invoice for 3 days' work, even though I'd probably been there for less than half an hour. It was perhaps a little churlish of me, but the point is, I could have had to cancel another job to come in on the third day. Besides, the rule says I get paid day rate regardless of how long I'm needed. The manager realized his mistake when he spoke to their technical director, and I never had to stop working late again. I kind of feel a little bit of pity for the manager just in the sense that he's new and he's just trying to follow the rules that were set, but at the same time it's literally 15 minutes of convenient maintenance at a not so bad level of audio. And like OP said, it was designed for rock concerts playing live music at loud volumes past 11:30, not a little bit of tinkering with tools. It's not like OP was out here with a jackhammer. Saying, just do your work to a Sparkie. 15 years ago, Australia. Government electrical contracting can be all kinds of things. This day, it was a little bit fun. Background. We had a job to upgrade the switchboards in an office block. The plan given to us by government called for 2 suites of offices to be done at a time, on weekends only, specifically Saturdays only. Our teams could obviously get more done in a day and over a whole weekend, but this was the plan. The plan called for removing and replacing the existing switchboards and fitting new ones. For the Sparkies reading, the old boards in this old building had no RCDs/RCBOs, so the apprentices should have some fun helping chase the problem circuits. The plan schedule was communicated in advance to the suites that would be affected, 1 month prior, 1 week prior, and the day before. Important to note that once we started a switchboard, there would be no power in the chosen suites until we finished. Story. This fine Saturday morning, it was 7 a.m. on day 1 of the plan. The rest of the crew were due in about 30 minutes with all of the gear. The 2 suites we were doing that day belonged to the same government department. Each suite had 5 offices with windows that saw into the central open plan space. About 20 people worked in each suite. So, 7 a.m., I'm drinking my coffee while standing at the switchboard of Suite 1. It's on a wall in the open plan. I can see into the offices. In walks people from the suite's front doors. They stop dead when they see me. Who are you and what are you doing here? I'm thinking, uh-oh, they didn't read the plan. Good morning, just doing some electrical work here today. Have you seen? Gets cut off before I can mention the plan. I don't have time for this, just get on with it. Person heads into the office labeled manager and turns on the lights, so they are now manager for the story. Pause here for a sec. Okay, so as an office worker, if you unexpectedly met an electrician in your office who says they are doing work, you might have a few questions like, is it going to affect me, and how long will it take? I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, so I go over to their office and try again. Excuse me, the work here today is, again, don't get to bring up the plan. Look, can you just do your work and leave me alone? And here we are. Delicious compliance. I go back to the switchboard, head hanging in shame. I have failed. Not really though, because I have been at this rodeo before. See my username, OlderSparky. I go around to each office and turn on the lights. Because I can hear the chimes of manager's PC turning on, this is purely for effect. I already have the open plan lights on. Back at the switchboard, I put my finger on the circuit breaker for power in the manager's office, waiting until the PC is booted. Flick, power out. Manager's UPS begins its beeping. Choose another breaker. Flick, lights in the manager's office goes out. Hey, what are you doing? Flick, lights in the next office go out. After all, it wouldn't be MC if I didn't follow their directive. The race is on. I have a finale planned. How many offices' lights do I get to turn off before it happens? 2 more, and then the manager is out of their office and standing 2 meters in front of me, glaring. I put my hand on the big black main switch. I said, what are you doing? Me, straight-faced, looking the manager in the eyes. We're doing the switchboard changeouts outlined in the plan. You're on all the emails I've seen. I turn the main switch. It makes a satisfying ka-chunk sound. All the lights, indeed all the power in this suite is now out. All the other UPSs join in, underscoring this scene with their nice beeping chorus. From the lights coming through the windows, I see realization dawning. The manager turns, heads to their office and gathers their things and stuff. Dear reader, remember what I said, the 2 suites we were doing that day belong to the same government department? Manager has 2 doors to choose from, the front door or the interconnecting door. I feel like you've guessed which door they've chose. At the time, I was kind of maybe hoping they would choose that one too. After turning off the UPSs, I head outside to wait for the team. 15 minutes later, I'm recounting the events to the others. We have a laugh. While they start gathering the gear, I feel 25 minutes is enough time to have logged in, checked emails, reread the plan, and leave. I head to Suite 2. Manager is in an office busily typing away. Oh dear. I head to the switchboard, grab the main switch. Manager is looking at me now. Me looking the managers in the eyes again, call out with actual sincerity, I am so sorry about this. Did you want to save your work first? Manager seems to be saving, so I wait. I'm not a monster. I wait until they have their hand on the front door, then ka-chunk. Aftermath. None. I mean, what could manager do in the face of the plan? We had a great day. The apprentices got some solid electrical experience. Addendum. 5 weeks later, I walked into Suite 9 at 7 a.m. In this 5 weeks, I learned that manager has been second to another department, located in Suite 9. Again, I had been kinda maybe hoping manager did not disappoint. When I saw them in their office typing away, in full breach of the now 5-week-old the plan, I will here admit that the monster won. Ka-chunk! This was just a beautifully written story, a true tale of electric love between an old Sparkie and some sort of business manager. I really enjoyed this tale and I really loved how well it was written. Kudos to OP for a great story. Can't celebrate birthday? Fine, I'll find a loophole. So this was way back in my college days. I was renting a room from a sweet old lady for my freshman and sophomore year, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, she had to kick me out, family member moving back in. So she found her friend literally next building over and said she was cool and all. Went in, we talked and agreed on costs, and I moved in next week. We never discussed any house rules except I mentioned to her I expect to be allowed to go out and come back anytime I want, and unrestricted use of the bathroom. Pretty standard stuff. Turns out, Lady from Heck was not that nice. She was widowed. Husband died like 25 years ago etc. So she liked her peace, as she used to say. Fast forward a month or so and my birthday is coming up. I was dating a girl back then, but she never visited, mostly due to my erratic classes and the fact that the apartment was on the outskirts of town, so we usually went out or I was at her place. Now for my birthday, I had everything planned. I bought a freaking cake and some soda and I invited my girlfriend for a slice. She said okay. Plan was to have my girlfriend, me, and landlady grab a slice, a cup of coffee, and then me and my girlfriend would go out. No sleepover and no party. So my girlfriend will be here around 7. I bought a cake and we can have a chat over some nice coffee. I'd love for you to meet her.
What? No. Who throws a birthday party in an apartment? Besides, you're not married, no guests allowed. No party, blah blah. Once you are, do what you want.
We did not get into a shouting contest, but I'm pretty stubborn, so I told my girlfriend just come, I don't give a darn. So 6 p.m. rolls on and landlady goes out doing some shopping. My girlfriend comes around 6:45 and I put my plan into action. I had one of those laptop mini desks with a single chair in my room that I brought when I moved in. You know, the one that has literally space for a laptop and nothing else. Apartment was in a 5-story building with around 35 other apartments and I was on the 3rd floor. I take my desk, a cake, and a soda bottle and one chair and take it outside in the hallway/staircase dead center in front of her apartment. Girlfriend sits, I stand. I slice the freaking cake, we are eating, talking, sipping soda. One neighbor walks by, I offer him a slice, then another, then a third one, each one more perplexed than the last. Finally, landlady comes at like 7:30. I wish I was recording her face when she saw us.
What the freak are you doing outside?
Well, you said no visitors and no cake in the apartment, so we're eating here. Want a slice?
Oh my gosh, you misunderstood me, dear. Come in, please, come in. No need for this. I thought you were gonna have a party.
I move back in and we go to my room. Needless to say, for the remainder of time I was renting that room until the end of that year, she was silent when I told her my girlfriend is coming and never bothered me again. I would have loved to see the look on this lady's face when she comes up to her apartment and sees this just small little desk birthday party type thing with just 2 people standing there. And it's great to hear OP got much more slack after this event went down. If you need to pee more than twice a day, you need a doctor's note. Okay, sure. Cleaning out my home office today and stumbled across paperwork I have saved for whatever reason from a bad call center job I worked at 15 years ago. This was an outbound sales thing and it was non-stop calls all day. Needless to say, the job sucked. With the constant talking though, your voice would start cracking throughout the day if you didn't hydrate. So I would bring jugs of water to sip on all day long. This of course meant frequent trips to the restroom. I never abused these trips and they were always 3 minutes or less, but of course this wasn't good enough for management. Oh no. One day, my manager demanded I get a doctor's note if I wanted to pee at any time other than one of my 2 regularly scheduled breaks. I could tell she was convinced I would not do it. I scheduled the appointment and filled the doctor in, who thought it was hilarious that this manager either 1, didn't understand biology, or 2, was on a huge power trip. He provided me with the most condescending doctor's note ever. Needless to say, she was not happy. My coworkers, though, all made trips to the same doctor and got similar notes. Pretty sure I wore a poop-eating grin every time I walked to the bathroom after that. If there is one thing that you do not mess with, it is people's ability to use the bathroom. Whether it's school, whether it's work, I don't care where you are, do not mess with somebody's ability to go to the bathroom. And not only is it having to go, but people might have actual issues. You just can't limit people too much from being able to go to the bathroom. Let's talk in private. No, we'll talk here. Okay. I'm training to become a sanitarian, a health inspector. The biggest part of the job is conducting routine inspections of restaurants and also investigating complaints that come into the health department by restaurant customers. Restaurant owners are rarely welcoming because they think we get hard-ons by citing them. This time was no exception. I've been shadowing a sanitarian on several inspections, and this time they wanted me to lead. We walk into the restaurant due to a complaint we received earlier that day. We make our way to the counter, introduce ourselves, and I ask to speak with the manager in charge. They quickly go get the manager.
What are you guys doing here? You were just here a few months ago. Can't you see we're busy right now?
She keeps ranting for a bit. Can we speak privately? This shouldn't take very long.
No, if it's so important for you to want to show up during our lunch rush, let's get this over with here and now.
I again insist on speaking privately. Manager goes on another rant about how we're wasting her time. The sanitarian that's training me says, "Ma'am, we're here because we received a complaint today about your employees playing with a dead rat in the kitchen." Multiple parties come up asking for a refund. Parties that were in line start to leave. Complete chaos ensued. What happened was that some of the kitchen staff found a dead rat. They thought it would be a good idea to place the rat on the counter with a cigarette in its mouth and an empty bottle of beer next to it and post it on Snapchat. The person who submitted the complaint knew where the guy worked and called it in. Oh my gosh, what a complete nightmare, dude. I would have been absolutely disgusted if I was eating there too. Immediate ask for a refund. Could you imagine eating at a restaurant and then overhearing a health inspector say, "Oh yeah, your employees were playing with a dead rat on the counter earlier"? Forget it, dude, forget it. But with that being said, that's all the stories we have for today. Thank you for listening, and if you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing to the Storytime channel, and please leave any feedback you can in the comments below. I'm definitely reading them and I'm taking them into consideration as I continue to find my groove here, shaping these stories and how I deliver them with all of you lovely people. Thank you all again for watching.